Hello my friends, welcome back to my garden. We're going to start by looking around at my patio pots. The first of the tulips is starting to open and there's just so many more. I love this time of year between the super saturated green on green of everything coming back to life for the spring, and then every time you go outside there's something new. There's something new flower that's just showing off. It's almost like a big orchestra of plant and flower beauty where, one time this flower is coming on in all of her glory and another one is being all done. I actually was picking a bouquet from my kitchen and I had it in there for a couple days, and then I noticed that even on my kitchen table these plants were trying to go to seed, and they were making their seed pods, which are their own kind of glory next to these beautiful spring show-off flowers. So there's some baby asparagus, isn't it cute? Oh, and I just can't wait for you to see my whole pot of tulips as they just grow through this whole video. It's bleeding heart. It's actually a native wildflower that just grows, so I just kind of let it be where it's going to grow. And there it is. Just isn't that just so such a show-off for spring? I've just been savoring it. It's a full writing season. I just turned in book 3. That'll be out in September, and I'm on a book deadline for book 4. That's for the middle of the summer, and so there's just a lot of reason to come out and soak up all of that beauty and inspiration and sit and just look at all of the layers of color and texture. I got to go to my neighbor lady. Her name is Ethel. Sweet Ethel has had a greenhouse nursery stock backyard set up for years and years and years, and I just got to go in there and enjoy. I don't even know what those are. Somebody knows what those are? And here, last video we had the peepers, and listen to this. Isn't this the coolest thing? I just think it's pretty cool. I got out in my garden with my headlamp on, and the frogs must think it's the moon or something, because I've been able to get in really close and catch some of that footage and enjoy it. And then I caught this little delight taking a bath in my funky little bird bath. But I always just feel so honored when you catch them. It's like sometimes I've put out bird baths in my garden and they never actually come to that one, and you catch them taking a bath in a puddle in the middle of your driveway or something. It's always kind of funny. I did have the privilege of going to a friend of mine. She is a teacher at a school, and she had a kindergarten, first and second grade class come to her house and learn about gardening and predators and animals, and it was just a real fun thing to be a part of and be able to teach. And like I said, it's time to be inflow on my creativity, and that's where the candles and the beautiful art and just all these little layers. Sometimes I just want to record what makes me take a deep breath and feel a sense of savoring the days as they pass, because they go pretty darn fast. And then there's other days where it's time to do the work, and it's time to sit down and make yourself be disciplined and do the hard things. So here's those Johnny jump ups just looking perfect in all their glory. And this is 2 duck eggs, and I let the ducks continue to lay eggs, and they're actually laying on a nest. I'll have to catch a video of that. And our chickies are much older now. There's a couple of them that made it all the way through, which it's always so hard for those little chickies to make it all the way through. But I can't help but put those babies underneath the broody mamas. I have a video for that. I might have to just click it in here now so you have a chance to watch it if you want. But it's such a sweet trick to have them raise. The mom gets a chance. I don't have a rooster, so the mom gets a chance to do the mom thing, and I get to have purebred chickens, so I get to pick the color of eggs that I want in the future and all of that. And I have been kind of teasing you guys about a new project that I'm doing inside that chicken pen over there. I'm slowly building up a composting system. Now, I've always done this. I've always taken the deep litter from the chickens' deep litter mulch method and used it to make my flower beds. I have several flower beds that I haven't ever put any bought dirt or soil in, because I've just been continually accumulating grass cuttings, the deep litter mulch from my chickens, the pine needles from underneath the tree, and compost and different things like that. And I just keep layering and layering and layering. And like when the daffodils are done, I'll cut those back and use that green matter as another thing. Of course, we got the wood chips. So you're going to see me do that here in a minute. I'm actually going to work on a flower bed that has never had any purchased soil put on it, which is actually amazing. You do have to kind of dig back to get to the dirt underneath in order to plant in it. But the worms are so happy, and right now they're going to be, this seems like it would be pretty hot, and because it's got chicken manure in the straw and all of that bedding. But by the time the rain soaks it and gets it down into the soil, I haven't had any trouble with it burning. I think that most of the time when chicken is too hot for the soil is when you would put a big clump of chicken manure directly onto the plants. But this is so mixed in, and so the chickens just love mixing it in for me. So I've been able to, in my composting system, I've been able to make big piles of mulch and soil, and I've actually taken several wheelbarrows of my own dirt out. But truly the purpose is to actually grow the compost for the chickens so that I can go out there any time of year and turn it, and they can have worms upon worms upon worms to supplement their feed, to give them a sense of entertainment, because we all love happy chickens, right? They definitely make their happy little noises, and they definitely appreciate the change up in their meal and their diet. Makes the eggs better. Sometimes I have this idea, like we like free range chickens and all that, but mine aren't really free range. They're inside of a chicken pen, and they're eating a grain, a very good grain, but a grain. And so I'm like, well, what's the difference between these and store-bought ones, you know? Which obviously there's a big difference because they get to have bugs and stuff. But I do want to increase that. I want to give them sprouts, and I want to give them like I said, the worms. They're omnivores. They're forest birds. They're supposed to be scavenging, and so I kind of want to build up the mulch over the course of over my whole pen. I do have like apple trees growing in there, blackberries, different things like that. So, but this, see, even underneath the bottom of the chicken run, it will actually make a really good soil under there, and it's not like I ever even really use it all. I could actually go in there and dig on it and supplement my garden beds for a long time before I ever get to the bottom of it. It's just a really beautiful thing. So this is me building it up, and it's even been a couple of weeks since I videoed this, and you can't see it, you can't tell. It's actually just good dirt in there now, good soil, and the worms are so happy. And of course it's wet. See me in my happy little rain gear doing it. We definitely have to garden in the rain around here, or else you won't be gardening. We live in a rainforest. They call it a rainforest for a reason. So this was fun. I did dig up a couple hydrangeas and move them around. This is my memorial garden that I made to honor my mom, and it's several years in the making, and starting to look like the lupines and all of they're just so thick and pretty, and it's starting to, the clematis is growing in, the peonies are starting to come up, the lilies are there, the hydrangeas are there, the honeysuckle is hedging up nicely. I have a trumpet vine that, if anybody knows the secret to how to make a trumpet vine bloom, I could really use a tip or two. So the hydrangeas, I seem to propagate them really easily, so I'm just moving them around, sharing the love, wanting the blooms to be in more places, wanting that beauty to, free plants, right? Free plants. See, look, I'm separating this hydrangea into like 3 plants, and I dug it up from a spot, which I'll be telling you about in just a minute. So, but look at how green it is. Even the dogs are just totally entertained by having me outside play with them. Grass is on, the deer are back across the way, across the creek. They don't like my yard super much, so that's kind of a nice thing. I get to enjoy the deer without the pests of them eating my stuff. Plant seedlings are coming up, flowers are coming on. I'm able to have bouquets on my kitchen table, and so I can light a candle and pour a cup of hot tea and sit and enjoy and savor. Behind me here, I'm actually taking out a part of a flower bed because once upon a time I had a wedding here, and since the wedding we actually put in more of a patio,
and I'm just kind of anticipating a day when maybe that might happen again. And if it does, I think it would be prettier to have a longer, wider aisle out to that patio to the view. The last one went this way, and there wasn't, it's not as wide over here. So yeah, so that's fun. So I just got done carrying the log. It's definitely Oregon gardening day. If you're not gonna garden in the rain, you won't have enough days to garden.
It's kind of interesting what I'm working on here, because once upon a time I actually used the rocks that my dogs carried up from the creek to make a small border around this flower bed, because it built up. I thought, oh, this will look beautiful, blah, 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 blah. No, they just sink. Does anybody else have that kind of soil? Like, the ground is so moist and so soft that the rocks over time, they sink. And in a future video, you'll see where I actually have to dig out an entire other thing too, because the heavier the rocks, the faster they sink. It's actually kind of crazy. Even when I did like pizza-sized log rounds. Oh, yep, another frog. Gotta show you the frogs. A pizza-sized log round, they sink in my wood chips, and I just have to uncover them every year. So we're at the end of the video, and I'm just showing you my daughter. She went to nationals for track and podiumed twice, so she's all-American. And my son harvested his first turkey. And of course, we have to show you the tulips again, because how could I not? They're just absolutely magnificent. And I hope that you're enjoying beautiful flowers and bouquets and savoring spring in all of its beauty wherever you are. Thanks for subscribing and hitting the like button and being faithful to me on here. I appreciate it. Have a good day.